Okay, it does say that we are live, and I don't know. If you could tell us that this is working for you by letting us know in the chat rooms or in the comment sections where you're beaming in from, and if you have any tattooer friends or tattoo client friends or anybody that loves tattoos, now's a good time to share it around or to tag them. So thank you very much for tuning in. You are currently watching the Tattoo Now show that happens every Wednesday at noon, and we have a very special guest, Matt Youl. This is not a group Zoom. We do. Sorry. So welcome to Guy Aitchison's. My dog's screwing my vibe here. Welcome to Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo Community, where tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and the curious are all encouraged to join in these live streams, discussion panels, art groups. Ultimately, we're here to share and inspire each other so that we can create better art and tattoos. You might be beaming in from YouTube or Facebook or listening into a replay on the podcast. Holy Moses. Okay. But ultimately, the best place to find Reinventing the Tattoo is at www.reinventingthetattoo.com. You can also download the app in either the app stores, Google or Apple. Pick your poison. They both spy on you tremendously. So like all these network shows, the art jams, the drawing groups, the interviews, the panels, webinars, there's so much stuff. If you don't know where to start, or if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, if you just go straight to, like I said, reinventingthetattoo.com, you'll see, well, of course, you'll see some of the courses that are available for artists and apprentices, but you'll also see a full, it's like a network. We've got 5 channels of replays going on at any given time. So you can find that on the homepage of reinventingthetattoo.com. Included in all of those replays are the staple shows. These include, well, let me just run down the list here for you. All these times are Eastern Standard Time. That's New York time zone. Sundays at 1 p.m. is a Reinventing Drawing Group with Jason Leeser, which means if you're an artist or an apprentice or any artist really, and you want to beam in. So we have the Zoom split up, and there's anywhere between 4 and 10 people all drawn and having discussions. It's also fun just to beam in and listen to. So anyways, every Sunday at 1 o'clock is a drawing group with Jason Leeser. Monday mornings at 9 a.m. is the Early Bird Drawing Group with Kier. Mondays at 11 a.m. is the Tattoo Weekly, which is kind of like a variety show with tattoos. Jake Meeks from the Fireside Tattoo Network is a co-host. Lauren Gregory is a co-host, and then I'm a co-host too. Gabe Ripley, by the way. So we highlight some of the past interviews and talk about what's coming up, and also talk about news. We do some interviews. Hunter Spanks is going to be coming up to do an interview this Monday. Okay, so anyways, this is Monday at 11, the Tattoo Weekly. Mondays at 9 o'clock are the subscribers exercises with Guy Aitchison. So this whole community, the Reinventing community, is powered by paid subscribers, artists and apprentices who join the subscription, and every Monday do an exercise with Guy Aitchison. So it's pretty amazing. There's almost no question. You should be getting critiqued by Guy every Monday at 9 o'clock. Let's see, Tuesdays at 10 a.m. is a Reinventing Drawing Group with Ricardo. Wednesdays at 12 noon is the Tattoo Now show. Hey, that's what you're watching now. Thursdays at 10 a.m. Is a subscribers exercise with Kier. So that's if you're an apprentice type or a younger tattooer and are intimidated to join in on Mondays, Thursdays is perfect. All skill levels apprentices are encouraged to join in. Thursdays at 12 noon is the Tattoo Collecting Podcast. Before I get too much further, I am going to just double check to make sure that this is working, because sometimes I get all the way through the intro and Wednesdays. Look at that. It's working there on the YouTubes. And let's try out the Facebooks. Oh yeah, let's see here. Okay. Yay. It's yay for computers. Okay, we are live on Facebook. Before I get too much further, I am going to just double check Patrick, to make sure that Patrick Cost says hello. I think he's up in Canada. Icon, I believe. So cool. Okay, great. This is working. Let me get back to my script then so we can get on with our interview. Upcoming real world events. Sorry, I'm checking the time here. Okay, so real world events, February 5th and 6th is Reinventing live at Red Tree Tattoo. It's going to be virtual or in person. So go to reinventingthetattoo.com/live. The lineup's pretty awesome. Bob Tyrell will be there tattooing. Jesse Smith will be there. Jillian Marie will be beaming in. It's like I said, it's a hybrid thing. So we'll be doing some beaming in. Nick Baxter's beaming in. You could beam in if you want to, or you could meet us right there at Red Tree /True Tubes Tattoo Supply. That's Derb's place out in Columbus, Ohio. Okay. sponsors that help this happen and be free for everybody. Raw Pigments, rawpigments.co is an ink company out of California. They're tapping right into the pigments. But actually, if you don't want to talk about it, you want to try them out, reinventing247.com. There's still like another week or two left, and you can get some samples of raw pigments. Actually, Cheyenne cartridges and D-Lyes Pro are also in those goodie bags. Reinventing 24/7. Scroll down, put in your shop address, and then you'll get these samples. D-Lyes Pro is known as Dermalize Worldwide. They have a healing wrap that's designed to breathe. So if you're still using saran wrap, you should definitely consider it. Check out their videos. It's Dermalize Worldwide, D-Lyes Pro in the United States, thanks to copyright laws and stuff. WorldTattooEvents.com is the most comprehensive website to deal with, or to inform us about tattoo conventions. It's pretty awesome. Alex has been doing it for, I think, well over a decade, it seems. He's got interviews on this channel with all the amazing tattoo convention promoters. And as you can imagine right now, we're still pandemic-y. It's pretty crazy with conventions getting rescheduled and whatnot. But worldtattooevents.com. Let's see, Tattoo Now. I am a computer geek for tattooers. If you're interested in CRMs or websites, or I mean, basically I'm a CTO for tattoo shops and artists and some supply companies. So if you want to talk geek, look me up, GabeRipley.com. And then the founder of Reinventing Network, Guy Aitchison, GuyAitchison.com. His original art, his paintings are out of control. The professional development he does for tattooers is great. He's got the Biomech Encyclopedia. So if you're an artist or a fan of, hold on, my dog here. Okay. If you're a fan of bio, it's 2 tomes. It's amazing. It's like $160 maybe. It's massive, but I mean, it's got Giger in it. It's got Bernansky. It's got all the tattooers. Guys spent about 8 years putting it together. So yeah, check it out. The Biomech Encyclopedia, and do that. Okay, so wrapping this up, please leave your positive reviews on the channels. If you're on the podcast, YouTube's, wherever. Kind words go there. If you want to critique us, send it straight to management at reinventingthetattoo.com. Or if you're interested in sponsoring the channel or hosting a reinventing event, that's right, management at Reinventing the Tattoo. So usually this is where I would say I'm going to hop off and jump into the background and maybe read off some comments as the behind the scenes person, but this is the Tattoo Now show. So I'm going to have a sip of my tea and get ready to introduce our next guest. Okay, I was really excited. One of his agent types contacted me like a week or two ago and hooked up this interview. It's pretty awesome. His artwork clearly will speak for itself. He is an official comedian. I went to his Instagram and I checked it out. So I'm excited to get a little bit of laughing done. Calls himself a Neotraditional tattoo artist. And again, you'll see for yourself some of his awesome work as we do this interview. He is a Tattoo ambassador supported by Yayo Familia. Well, I'll talk with him about it. It's at YAYOFAMILIA. He's working currently at Painted Lady Tattoo Parlor and has a big cartel. Our next guest is Matt Youl, Matt, YOUL, .bigcartel.com to purchase some of his stuff. And yeah, I'm pretty excited. He actually clicked all of the buttons on the lead up to the interview. So we have topics that we picked ahead of time and got his pictures that are awesome. And there we go. Well, Matt, thank you very much for joining us. It's always amazing to catch up with, again, inspiring tattooers all around the world. And yeah, so you're beaming in from England.
Yeah, Birmingham, the UK.
Awesome, fantastic. And you just got done with the tattoo. So thank you very much for.
Yes, I literally just tagged one of the girls that I work with, Hope, and she's just left. Amy, who I work with, is still over in the corner over here actually tattooing. So I apologise to Amy and her customer for all the nonsense they're going to hear me talk.
Awesome. Well, this is reality TV, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it actually goes on TV sometimes. We've got the via the YouTubes, but I'm working on one of the Roku channels too. But so maybe we should just start off. I mean, eventually I want to talk about all of the amazing, world-classy things that you have going on. But let's just start off at the very beginning. Often when people see artists, work like yours, we'll get a flood of apprentices and apprentice types that are asking for advice and stuff. So let's skip that and just let's let people know a little bit about how you got started and if that was some of the lessons that you learned from it.
I got started about 10 years ago. I I got given an apprenticeship at a place called Skinny's Inc. by a guy called Skinny Owl. But it was kind of like a bit of a baptism of fire, where I was just sort of chucked in at the deep end, rather than it being like a traditional apprenticeship. It was rather, here's the tattoo machine, go and tattoo people. It was interesting, to say the least. So
now, did you hunt that down? Were you like an artist ahead of time, and you couldn't stop?
Yeah, so I've always been into art, and I've always done a lot of drawing and stuff. And Dawn, who I work for now, we were sort of friends through her tattooing me for years. But I got speaking to her about sort of how would you get into the tattoo industry, and she sort of recommended me to Alan, who I then went and worked for, and then sort of Dawn asked me to come and work for her about a year into my apprenticeship.
Awesome. That's pretty quick. And what year is this when you started?
It was, I think it was late 2011.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, very fun. And this work is amazing. It's really cool to see the different styles that you're getting in here too. And this is great. When we're done here, this is for the public, so we'll be talking a lot about clients and whatnot. But I'd love to catch you for a little bit to talk about some of the technical aspects. I look at a tattoo like this, and again, I know that there's artists that are like there's different styles in here, which is amazing. Who's now? You clearly you're doing a lot of portraits, but it's Illustrator. Like, how do you mix the two styles? Is this something that's always come naturally for you, or?
I think I always wanted to. Well, I think when I started out, I wanted to do more sort of like trad stuff. And I think I've always been interested in portraits and like sort of faces and stuff like that. So I think this was like a natural progression from where I'd started out with the trad, and then sort of progression into like Neotrad stuff. And then I wanted to do some Neotrad portraits, but I feel like I'd do them a little bit more realistic than Neo-traditional, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah. No, it's a great mix. The there's like clearly it's spot on. Like I said, it looks like it's a realist piece, but it's not, right? Like you're using a lot of Illustrator elements.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful. Now, I imagine that you're pretty busy. Are you still accepting clients, or what's your booking process look like?
I am busy, but at the moment I'm hoping to move to LA in a few months' time, to go and work for Mano at 10,000 Foxes.
Awesome. And I imagine you already have clients over there waiting for you at this point.
Yeah, there's been a few people contact me, but at the moment, we're just sort of trying to get the visa process done before I start taking on any more clients, so that I know where I'm going to be at and what sort of date that I'm looking at moving, rather than booking people in, then removing them and canceling. And
were you booking out ahead of, like, before you started that process, or before you were like slowing down intentionally? Were you pretty booked out?
Yeah, probably about 3 months.
Yeah, that's great. And how long did it take for you to so back to some of the questions that the younger tattooers have, like how long did that take for you to get booked out? 3 months is tremendous. It means you're basically going to be working in perpetuity.
I would say it probably gradually progressed over the course of a few years. I think when I first started as an apprentice, I was only sort of doing 2 or 3 days a week, and then I had another job that I was doing the rest of the week. And I think it probably took a good couple of years before I was sort of like booking in advance any sort of like major time, sort of like a month plus. So yeah, I'd probably say at least a year, 2 years maybe. So,
and I mean, I guess in the long run, that's actually pretty quick. I mean, I know tattooers that I know a lot of tattooers, but I know people tattooing 5 or 10 years and are still kind of still hustling it, right? So that's definitely a good feat.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that you said on, well, like I said, I saw 2 things that made me be like, oh, this is going to be fun. You said you wanted to tell tattoo stories, and you're a comedian.
Well, I think I'm a comedian.
Okay.
I mean, the guys here have been laughing all day at the things I've been saying. They might just be humouring me because I'm a big, horrible, ginger, hairy man. Or they might think I'm genuinely funny. Who knows?
Who knows? It's definitely questionable. Well, we'll find out. We'll let everybody in the chat rooms let us know.
Yeah.
I think is is it Phil Garcia? I think Phil Garcia is a stand-up comic at times, and I think he's gone
Really?
and actually done it like in the last couple of years. It's fun to see the different talents that'll help inform people's art. Do you have many other hobbies or talents, or are you like strictly art and tattoos?
Making cups of tea. I'm really good at making cups of tea. That's about it.
My tea, I got Earl Grey.
Yeah. I mean, our cups of tea, like real cups of tea, not like your guys' cups of tea with the fruit and stuff.
There's no fruit in this. This is got Herney and Sons. So fine tea here. I mean, it is from New York, I guess, but there's no fucking fruit in here. There's flowers. It's black tea. Bergamot oil. Okay, just say.
Have you got milk in your tea?
No,
Yeah,
black.
Wrong.
No.
Milk and sugar.
The problem that I have with stuff like that is, if left to my own devices, I'm putting a fucking pound of sugar in it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So like, and to your, I mean, we don't need to turn this into a tea conversation, but I'll have like 16, probably 24 cups of tea a day. So if I'm fucking decking that shit out with sugar like all the time, like I would want to, there's no, ain't happening. But I mean, it's funny. In one of my seminars, I'll teach, often many successful tattooers, their hobbies will inform their tattoos and their art, right? They're either like photographers or sculptors. Well, I guess those are, but even like the nature walks, right? So they'll go out into nature and they'll do the walks and they take the pictures for reference or whatever. So there's definitely been times where people have come up after and said like I want to just have a regular hobby in a life. Can I do that? And I'm like, I suppose, it's probably healthier to do that. But funny. Now, were you hitting up the tattoo convention scene before, COVID?
Yeah, we were doing a fair few. Obviously, coronavirus has put a stop to a lot of things. We're just coming back out of it over here, where they're having conventions and stuff again. So they're doing Brighton Tattoo Convention, which is quite a big one in the UK. I think London shut down.
Yeah, Mickey's is for sure.
Yeah. I don't know if they're going to reopen it or what.
Did you ever do the London Tattoo Show, Mickey show?
No.
Yeah. That was
I have to be invited to do that one.
Sure. No, it's
like a real big thing. So I've never got to do London, which is a shame really that it's now shut. And plus, it was more sort of internationalized. I think that were
sure.
People from around the world to.
I mean, that's the way that I run my shows. It's. I mean, we try. Sometimes we'll have people, from what. And luckily, where I run my shows is usually not very many people. It's like ski resorts way out of the way.
Yeah.
But the whole point really is to bring in outside talent. I mean, and often I would think that the local tattooers would like that, right? Like they could tattoo each other and tattoo anybody that's there any day of the week, anyways. So to have the opportunity to meet and interact with people, for me has always been one. I mean, I don't tattoo at all, so like I'm only networking at shows and whatnot. But let's hear what were some of your favorite shows that you've done there, and some of the experiences.
I think Tea Party in Manchester.
Yeah.
That's always a good one. It's always good fun. There's always like a lot of stuff going on. I think last time I went, there was like a big boxing ring, with like big heavy gloves where you could just basically go and fight people, which is always fun. I would say if you've got a bit of a grievance with someone, go and sort of punch it out in the boxing ring. So that's always a good one.
Yeah, unless you lose.
Manchester's got a good nightlife as well. So.
Awesome. The Tea Party, that's a great show. There's a lot of international people there. That's a pretty well-known show. I've definitely made the trek over within the last decade or two. It's been going on probably about a decade, I think. I definitely hit a couple of them. If I'm going to go to some of the shows over Europe, and if I have the opportunity to, the Tea Party is one I'll hit up.
Yeah.
These are fun. So now. Well, like I said, I guess at this point, like you said, you're trying to control your booking because of your situations. But these are fun. Like, what's your normal process? Or so I suppose, let's hope that the visa and everything goes well as it should. I mean, I've seen, other artists that are not of the same quality, catch their visas and stuff. But what would the process look like? So somebody's in America and they're looking to get tattooed by you. What does it look like? How does the process go?
I'm normally sort of take bookings through email, and generally I just sort of ask for elements of things that people want. I mean, I think the girl that's got this on her arm just wanted what's his name, Hopper? It's Hopper, isn't it, from Stranger Things? She just did him, and then I would generally just sort of find images of that person that would fit, and then more elements that so like the 80s sort of background elements that would fit together with it, I think, nicely, and colours that would fit together. So it's generally just sort of like giving me an idea of where you want to go with something. It's probably better than trying to be a bit more strict.
Yeah, well, imagine at this point you don't need to worry about clients that are going to be, you know, over controlling or whatnot.
Yeah,
I mean, that is one of the beauties of having talent like this, is that you do get to guide your, and to your point, and after a while you get to guide your clientele to, your clientele is guided to what you prefer to do, as opposed to, you know, needing to do anything.
Yeah.
Again, I'm excited. When we're done with the public interview, this is another tattoo that'll be fun to kind of dissect. Like I said, the tattooers, there's so many, you know, a couple different effects in here that are working so well. It'd be fun to digest a little bit. Now, do you take many seminars or teach any seminars, or?
No, not at the moment. I've never been asked to do one. I don't know where I would even start with it, to be honest with you. So,
no, I can help with that if you want.
Yeah,
I help produce.
I feel like sort of every artist that's a tattoo artist, that you always feel like you're learning rather than teaching, if that makes sense.
Sure. Oh yeah. No, I mean, there's definitely a fair amount of people that are always intimidated, or not intimidated, but to your point, they're like, well, what do I'm just me. What do I have to teach?
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you do. That's for sure. Again, I'm just looking at a couple of the different, you know, effects that you have going off here, and it's not like a kitchen sink of shit. You know, it's like you're very deliberate about when you're doing what, and it's not trivial to mix, you know, the hard lines with the realism, but make it look fucking right. You know. And it's fun because it seems like there's some rules. And again, I don't tattoo, so I just like hear everybody, but it feels like there's rules that I've heard that you're breaking, but it's working. I don't know. I guess you know better than I.
There's so many different rules that you get. So, but I think sort of the cool thing about tattooing is you're always sort of learning whilst you're tattooing. So you're always learning something new.
Yeah.
And not necessarily the rules that you've been taught are the right way. It's sort of what works for you as a tattoo artist, rather than being rigid and listening to exactly what someone else has done.
Yeah, it's funny for an art that is kind of born out of rebellion, or at least in recent times. To your point, it's like it's born out of rebellion, but there's always been an undercurrent of like, follow what we do and don't fuck around.
Yeah.
You know? And although that said, there are definitely lessons that I watch, you know, younger artists learn again and again. I mean, and I learn it because I hear, you know, people that have been tattooing 25, 35 years being like, yeah, we used to do that. We don't anymore. But I'm not seeing any of that in here. I mean, obviously these pieces are all, you know, these are great. So do you tattoo a lot of tattooers, or?
A fair few, to be honest with you. I've tattooed most of the guys that work here with me. And I do get quite a few asking me for tattoos as well, which is, it's quite nice to be asked by other tattooists. It's quite humbling to be asked by another tattooist to tattoo them. So,
oh yeah, well, see, that's your seminar right there. I mean, you're already teaching seminars. I imagine that they're asking you about the tattoos and what you're doing, or I mean, I'm sure they're watching regardless.
Yeah, you get the odd question. I mean, not that I know exactly how to explain what that I do to them while I'm tattooing them, but
sure. Yeah.
Part of the fun of learning is just watching other people, isn't it? So,
I mean, that's clearly probably one of the best ways to learn how to tattoo better, is to be getting tattoos and whatnot.
Yeah.
And now you're pretty computer geeky. Well, I guess the question is, my question is, how computer geeky are you?
As in, sort of,
like for your tattoo process, like, so are you using any sort of computers for this process, or tablets?
I pretty much use Procreate, to be honest with you.
Cool. Okay, so not super geeky, but you're using Procreate and the computers to help.
Yeah, definitely. And to be honest with you, it's so much easier to have Procreate and do things in Procreate than it was ever to do with paper, like pencil and paper. It's just, the process is so much quicker.
Sure. This tattoo is fucking great. This client's very happy, I imagine.
Yeah, I've tattooed it quite a few more times from that. Got pretty much a full leg of stuff. So,
Very cool. The Alien. Okay, so some black and gray action here, or a little color, but
it's colour. It's a cover up as well.
oh no shit. Okay.
So in the middle of the head, there's Batman in there somewhere. You can kind of, if you look at the center of his
I'm looking.
of his head, you can sort of see a spike of the cowl.
Normally, I would be like, "Oh my god, we can't go there. There's no like if you didn't tell us this was a cover up, no one would have any idea." And then often, I mean, nearly all the time when we know what's underneath it, I could see it, but I can't see any Batman back there. Somebody will be able to. Maybe see some ears, but Alex.
You can see like the tiniest sort of like corner of his cowl where it sort of sticks up.
Like one of the, I don't know. I don't need to point it out to anybody. Like I said, it's a very effective cover up. I'm sure that for the most part, you and the client are probably the only people that would be able to see anything underneath that. That's for sure. Yeah. But again, more Illustrator. Oh, again, yeah, because it's like there's still a lot of gradients and stuff going on in here. These are cool, man. Yeah. Now, do you use Procreate for this design process? So you'll bring in some of your photorealism elements, some of the stuff that you're drawing, or I guess, how do you use Procreate as part of your process? Is this something that, the apprentices, before we get into any technical stuff about poking holes, maybe if you could drop a couple hints about how you're doing some of these tattoo designs in Procreate?
I mostly just sort of find images that I like of whoever it is that I'm tattooing, and use those as like a guideline of how I'm going to make the drawing. And I'll use a lot of sort of like different thicknesses of lines in the in Procreate on the stencils, so I can sort of see what's what, because I find that I do quite detailed stencils. So if I have them all the same thickness, everything just sort of gets lost within each of this. Like a big mess of lines. So I try and use like different thicknesses of lines so I can see different distinguishing features and find it easier way to distinguish what I'm doing when I'm tattooing. So
I mean, I think that your use of lines and also like space and open areas are impeccable. It's like you're not scared to leave some spaces that are there to breathe. And to your point, you've got, I mean, it's like almost like every line weight. And then I'm sure it seems like there's also a couple of, not tricks, but there's also a couple of, there's different line weights, and then there's, color lines, and then there's, lines with a color right next to them. It's pretty awesome. But again, it's like you're able to pull it off, or like something like this was like just so much, these open gradients, but like the details where they belong, and the lines where they belong. Like to your point, there's like the lines where they belong, but not everything is a line. So it's not, you're not like, indoctrinated by like the line thing. You're using just where they're needed and using contrast where it's needed, right?
Yeah, like things like the faces are sort of, I like to line sort of like the inside of their mouth. So like where their lips would meet if they've got lips that are closed, and then sort of like a little bit of the corner of the nose and the nostril, the tops of that's about it on the face. Just because I feel like if you do too much, it sort of takes away from the image, and it makes it look a bit wrong.
Oh, sure. Like I said, I don't know for sure, but I swear I have heard people say, and again, maybe it's a different set of, I mean, clearly it's different, but like, hard lines and eyes, right? Like I think it seems like it's kind of a bold thing, but clearly it's working, and it's not even a question. I love it.
I tend to use like as thin a needle as I can for just for the tops of the underneath of the eyelids on the top, and then the bottom. Like, so I'll always line those in black, so you've got that sort of shadow.
Yeah.
The bottom ones, if I feel like I need to have a line on that, they're normally in like a brown.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
So it's not as harsh on the bottom, on the bottom of the eye compared to the skin tone.
Like just some of these, the interaction of gradient, thin lines, the bold line to the soft skin. I don't know. Sorry, I don't usually. I try not to gush too much in front of people, but
right.
Yeah. And then this is transitioning into some sweet black and gray. What kind of inks are you using for? Or you know what? Let's see. Do I have any more I'm gonna run through maybe some of the see what we got for comments. Let's see. We got hello, hi, watching Mark. A lot of people that are digging the work. Emma says love it. Brian Deuce says awesome, crazy. Inkjet game changer. I forgot that one. Hey Brian, how are you? Nice catching up. He's in the streams quite a bit, it seems. Okay, well, why don't we show off a couple more tattoos with the intention of talking to the public, and then we will get into the artist only area where we could chat professional development talk with people. Obviously, much freer to talk about some of the technical stuff, going straight to the tattooers. And to your point earlier, we do work with a lot of tattooers developing their online courses or in-person courses or even just videos or whatever it might be. If you're interested, I'm definitely down with helping you out, especially. Stuff's fucking great. Now, you taking videos and stuff? Or I guess, so while I'm going through the rest of these, why don't you let us know how tattoo clients can get a hold of you? Maybe some of your, well, like you were saying, I guess it's really tricky because you're not trying not to book out too far. So, but again, for your international audience, again, when, eventually you're going to be traveling again, and let's let everybody know how they can get a hold of you and what kind of stuff you're looking to do.
So my email is mattyoultattoo@gmail.com. And my Instagram is @theyoul, so THEYOUL. And at the moment, I'm sort of trying to figure out this move and get over to LA. So we're going to do a lot of stuff there. But in the meantime, I'm hoping to do a guest in Dublin, in Ireland.
Awesome.
Maybe at the start of April, hopefully. Fingers crossed. But yeah, really at the moment, it's just waiting for this visa to be processed so I can sort out where I'm going to be, when I'm going to be.
If there's anything I could do to help, I've been asked to write a fair amount of recommendation letters and such, and I definitely don't say yes to everybody because it takes a little bit of time. I actually do care. But I'd be, anything I could do to help, I'd be happy to, because, this stuff's great. Like I said, it's also unique. It's like I come across, tattooers all the time. And like I said, so when the agent guy, emailed me over about you, I was like, well, let me take a peek of the work. Everybody's trying to get, somebody some publicity, but I'm like, oh shit, this, was no brainer. And, love to, if you have, I don't know. Oh, I guess you're in England, so it's a little later. We do another show. I think I was talking about earlier, the Tattoo Weekly. And if you want to hop on for like another, 15 minutes or whatever to chat up with those guys. Jake Meeks has an audience of mostly tattooers and apprentices, the Fireside Tattoo Network.
Yeah, that's cool.
And, we're going to talk all that when we get into I'm like, inks. I want to talk about inks. I want to talk about tattoo machines. Well, anyway, I'm going to just fly through this. People can find your work, online, and as you were saying, Matt Youl, MATTYOUL, and you can get lost in this because it's great. So I am going to wrap up this segment of the Tattoo Now show for the public, because we love to connect awesome tattoo clients with great inspiring tattooers. And if you are in Europe or in America, because eventually he's going to get over here, eventually it'll happen. There's no question in my mind. I mean, like I said, I obviously I'm not the judge, but I've seen so many people get in, and you're straight up there with them. And well, like I said, that's for me, I'm interested in having you talk to the Reinventing and Tattoo Now people a little bit about technical talk. So let's end this. Thank you very much, everybody that's watching. And I'm going to keep this going. I'm just going to click the stop going out to the public button. And if you are a tattooer and you're interested in hearing about this technical stuff, then you should be going to reinventingthetattoo.com and signing up. And or we'll figure out, like I said, eventually Matt's